Friends, post budget, we are going to host an event called the Voices of Tomorrow. This event will be digitally streamed and it will be on our YouTube channel, I Thought Advisory. It will be streamed live. So go subscribe to I Thought Advisory, fill up the form in the description link and give your details so that we could send you the link which you can use to watch the live streaming of this program. A very interesting session awaits you on 4th of February and we will know what to do after the budget, where to invest in Indian equities, should we invest globally in international markets, and is it time to look at debt? Thank you for being of support to us and see you on the 4th of February in Voices of Tomorrow. Friends, in this video, I am going to talk to you on the topic why storifying will always fail. The easiest way to get personal acceptance in the FinFit world amongst the investor community is to storify what we do. Because if you talk about individual investment ideas randomly, what you would end up doing is that you will only create buzz in individual ideas. People will not be able to connect these together to judge who you are. So, most investors tend to storify their work in a manner which appeals to society. I'm not going to pass any judgment on an investor doing that, but I'm going to tell you what happens to the other side, the recipients of this storification. For them, storification is not an evergreen, successful experience. Often, it tends to be successful for some time and then turns unpleasant for much longer times. Storification didn't begin in the last few years. It's been going on for a very long time. The first person to show us a taste of storification was Harshad Mehta. Subsequently, every time too much money was raised under a theme, whether it's the Morgan Stanley IPO or the 2000 tech boom and then the subsequent bust, or the infra and the energy boom, the power sector boom of 2008, or the small cap boom, or all those other little cycles we had in different themes, including special situation, storification was pervasive. It was always there. So, different people at different points of time storified their thoughts in a manner which is acceptable to society and is well received. Because when you present it in a certain way in which people are able to understand it simply, they start believing that that's very easy to understand and therefore they should adopt it. When more people adopt it, temporarily it looks like storification is a success. Often, in times of euphoria, storification is believed to be the absolute truth. But euphoria runs down, it doesn't last, and whenever euphoria runs down, storification loses its color. The person storifying loses his credibility, and those who believed storification lose their money. Now, when you look back at the storification of MNCs and FMCG companies in the 90s, you will realize that after the 90s, there was almost a decade when nothing happened. Most people who believed storification of these companies in the 90s tended to lose patience and exited their investments subsequently. That exit was terminal and nobody went back. It is a new set of people who got in subsequent to 2010 and made all the money. But when you extend the duration of analysis and create evaluation based on past data and do back testing, the combination of these three forces, duration, past data and back testing, gives you an impression that all this happened in a continuum. That is where the storification of great businesses which are good allocators of capital tends to mislead that under all circumstances you will make money. For as long as a decade, you may actually not achieve much. The same thing applies to the tech boom and bust. You saw the boom in 2000 and nobody made money for the next 10 years at least. These are companies that have still outlived the test of times and continue to give much better returns over a much longer period of time. But how many investors are going to stay invested in these themes for a decade if they make no money or in fact lose money? That is where storification doesn't answer very critical investor impacting questions. It also glosses over the need for returns for investors over shorter periods of time. Investors are not going to be willing to wait for 5 years or 10 years without returns. But storification, those who storify fail to mention this. They tend to omit the fact that this risk is always going to be before the investor who blindly believes in storification under all circumstances. This is why I believe that storification will always fail for investors who believe in it blindly. Special situations was supposed to be the fail-safe way to make money. But there have been numerous companies which have failed, giving us luring special situations. I am not saying that special situations is prone to failure, but blind storification is definitely going to put us up for that risk. Similarly, buying quality at any price overlooks the risk of having to wait for as long as a decade. This is what happened in companies like Infosys in 2000. But 20 years later, people conveniently forgot what happened. The same thing happened in companies like HUL as well. But people forgot the lessons of having to wait much longer because storification created so much excess in valuation that the markets were not able to recoup the losses from those peaks for a very, very long time. Investors mostly get in around peaks and they tend to buy stocks on the way down from the peak, and after the stocks fall significantly, they lose patience, and when the stocks fall further, they exit. So, storification actually ends up hurting more investors despite looking convincing when you manipulate duration, past data and backtesting. So, these three are the critical ingredients which help storification fail you, me and everyone else. So, you need to understand this very, very clearly so that in future, when a story is presented to you, when an idea is presented after perfect storification, after nicely storifying a theme, you need to evaluate whether there is enough steam left in the theme for you to participate in it, whether you would be the greater fool in the queue or there is some more steam left where more people are going to believe this idea and give you an exit. This is a ruthless judgment you need to make as an investor whenever somebody comes to you with a storified idea, theme or opportunity. If you fail to do that, you're going to lose your money on the way down and invest all the way down only to get out losing patience after waiting for long years. This has been the experience of storification for a majority of investors, but new investors keep coming to believe the same way and failing at the same thing. Thank you for watching this video.